I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
A big shout out to everybody in Riverside. And as a kid, I always wanted to meet Don King. But now I think Don King's a fucking asshole. He's a racist.
No. We're not going down that road.
None bigger than this. Maybe the biggest upset of this decade.
Dile que ese estilo es un fuck you, dile, porque él puede quedar bien con la pelea.
Welcome everybody to the Mr. Boxing Guru podcast. It is me, Sal, Mr. Boxing Guru. Man, I love that intro. Shout out to my dude Lewis for actually doing that for me. Again, we got a lot to talk about. A little late on the podcast. I know I usually try to put them out there on Monday, but you know, life calls. So anyways, it is what it is. Let's get to talking about what happened over the weekend, what's going to happen this weekend. Very, very excited about it. First things first, let's talk about the fight of the night. Not fight of the night, I want to say the performance of the night, which was from Virgil beating the Mean Machine. Virgil, what a performance! And you know what? I'm a big fan of Virgil, but I've always been like, what if? Are we missing something? Are we pushing this kid too hard? I still kind of see him as a baby, but at the same time, you got to let these kids fly, and I think that this is exactly what Golden Boy is doing with him. I mean, he got his knockout, I believe, what was it, the 9th round. Good, fun fight. We had a scary moment in the first round, I believe, first or second round. But it was one of those, look who he's learning against. I mean, it's to me, the body of work from a kid like Virgil Ortiz is one of the best works that I've seen come out of Golden Boy, because let's be honest, this kid hasn't been, yes, he's got on knockouts, but I mean, he hasn't been giving your traditional tomato can, and I think it's beneficial to him because he's been able to advance, and actually I think he's going to be able to fight certain fights in his actual prime, which I believe he's in, and as a matter of fact, which I believe he's not even in. He's like about 2-3 years away from it, but he's going to be able to fight those tough fights now, which is very important in a kid's life. As we know, Virgil Ortiz came from 140 pounds, and he graduated to 147. Even at 147, the kid looks fucking huge. Now, I see a lot of skepticism when it comes to Virgil and who did he beat. This kid is relatively young. Is relatively, I don't want to say new to the sport, but he hasn't been fed all those, bum of the month like most fighters. His resume has some really good fighters. I get it. He doesn't have world champions yet, but again, look at his age. He's still young. He's very, very young. And like I said, the body of work that Golden Boy and friends have been doing with him, I think it's beautiful. It speaks for itself, and it tells you that I think at Golden Boy they don't like to fuck around and give you easy touches. You're either gonna fight or you're not. I think the kid's a promoter's dream. I've been a bit of a skeptic because I don't know when it's too much. I thought the Mean Machine fight, I thought it's maybe a little too soon. Obviously, it wasn't. But at the same time, maybe we wouldn't have had that knockout if it was maybe 1 or 2 fights in the future. And the reason why I say that, and you guys have heard me talk about the Sabo boxing, which is these Mexican-American kids that don't speak a lick of Spanish. There's something about them that they fumble in the biggest stage. I thought that Virgil Ortiz's fight with the Mean Machine was something to the effect of when Victor Ortiz fought Maidana. We saw that again, that was a magnificent fight by both. I think if it was in Victor's attitude towards the end of the fight that hurt him, it was Victor's attitude, towards the end of the fight that actually hurt him in the fight, or hurt when it came to his persona, the dislike of fans, people calling him a quitter and whatnot. I see a lot of the same attitudes, the same little swag when it comes to Virgil Ortiz, but Virgil Ortiz proved that he wasn't gonna, fumble under pressure. Yeah, he got dropped, but he came back and he showed a great account of himself, which is very, very impressive. But you gotta admit, man, the second round was kind of scary. We saw him drop, but again, look who he's fighting. The Mimi we all know could crack. He hurt Crawford as well. Now, do I want to see Ortiz versus Crawford? Fuck yeah, why not? What am I gonna hurt? Look, I don't like babysitting fights either, and I think Crawford is a much smaller guy. So yes, I think Crawford's a better fighter. Pound for pound. But the thing is, Virgil's that much bigger, so I think Virgil will be able to handle that power that Crawford will bring. And if he loses, so what? As long as he shows a good account of himself in a loss, so what? You're losing to a pound for pound great. I mean, shit, Canelo lost to Floyd. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. Just fight the entertaining fights. Speaking of Sabo boxing, Joshua Franco wins his unanimous decision versus Andrew Maloney. This kid now has 2 trilogies, 6 fights, 2 opponents. What the fuck is going on? I guess there's no other little guys, but look, shout out to Franco. He repeated what he originally did. A little on the lighter effect. I both of the fights, I said, you know what? I think maybe Maloney brings a little something extra to the table. He obviously, I think on the third fight now he did. On the second fight, I thought he was doing great till, of course, they got stopped right away. But, and even then, now remember in the first fight, I believe Maloney did get stopped. In this one, again, he went the distance. Yes, I think Joshua outboxed him. I think Joshua's doing great. And it shows you how crazy life is. When Josh got signed to Golden Boy, from my understanding, and again, you don't have to quote me on this, from my understanding, it was part of a package deal. You had the stud in Tanajara. That's the guy that Golden Boy wanted. But, these guys came pretty much in a pair because Robert Garcia had signed both of them. Then they were taking a Golden Boy, and I'm not sure. They weren't really sure if they really wanted Joshua. I mean, of course, they wanted the good-looking Mexican kid, which was Tanajara. Again, they ended up, I guess, having more of an upside with Joshua Franco than Tanajara. I mean, we saw Tanajara unfortunately lose. Again, nothing wrong with losing, but again, it was a very bad loss. But again, Joshua has been put tough. From his debut. I remember I was at his debut at Velasco. He was in very tough. Tanajara wasn't. Tanajara fought a fighter that I swear to you, he looked like Harry Potter. Again, and fight after fight, again, the fights were always softer for fighters like Tanajara. The good-looking, light-skinned kids. That's just how promoters do. They promote the shit out of the good-looking kid. Joshua's not the easiest guy in the eye. He's just little Oaxaquito face, kid, and but he kept getting put in tough, and there was tough fight after tough fight. They ended up sending him to Argentina, I believe it was at one point, and I think he lost. He was a little. Again, that goes when you push your fighters a little too hard. And nothing wrong with that because he ended up becoming a champ. He did lose, I believe he turned his back towards a fighter in Argentina, I believe. And don't quote me on this, but he came back. He reassessed his career. He started looking good. He had that other trilogy with the Colombian guy from Manny Robles' gym, and now he ended up getting this opportunity to fight on ESPN with the rival promoter, and yeah, look at that. Look, he's a champion of the regular belt. Doesn't matter if it's a regular belt, because you know why? Because eventually he's how do you say it? He's up to fighting the champion of the Chocolatito versus Gallo fight. Whoever wins off of that, the mandatory will be Josh. And I know Joshua would love a fight with Chocolatito just because the handing over of the torch in that weight division. Or, versus Gallo. Gallo is a very technical, beautiful fighter. I would love either one for Josh. I mean, again, sky's the limit for fighters like that, man. So, another interesting note in this is look, man, I know they're saying that Top Rank let Mean Machine go, but technically, last fight, Top Rank fighter. He did lose versus Top Rank fighter, I guess. That's what they let him go, whatever the case was. Andrew Maloney, Top Rank fighter. A Top Rank fighter. Both Joshua and Virgil are Golden Boy fighters. We're starting to see a new trend here where Golden Boy's matchmaking is getting a little better, and they're able to actually beat, top rank fighters, which isn't very common. And this, I don't know if it's Golden Boy just getting better at what they do, or Top Rank just slipping a bit, because the old man, old Uncle Bob ain't all there anymore. So again, you never know. On the other fight that nobody wants to talk about, I'm gonna fucking talk about it because it kind of pisses me off. It got this fight at StubHub got watered down a bit because, of course, we got the two Texas kids, and we were all flipping from channel to channel. But at the end of the day, you still have boxing, and you still have the ability to watch Casimiro versus Rigondeaux. Now, we should be fucking embarrassed, including myself, of watching this. I watched the replay, I guess you could call it, of it, because I went on YouTube and found a quick link, and I saw it. And the reason why I saw it is because I heard what type of a shit show it was. And first of all, anytime you hear Origo's in a fight, that's my beer line fight. That's go through another piece of ranchera on the grill. That's the type of fighter that I see Rigondeaux as. I'm not going to sit there and watch him. But to see with both, and I'm blaming both of these fuckers, Casimiro and Rigondeaux did that this Saturday night at the StubHub Center, at the Home Depot Center, at the Dignity Health Center, whatever the fuck you want to call it center, except the fucking Punch Bowl. Don't call it the motherfucking Punch Bowl. What these two motherfuckers did was fucking embarrassing to boxing. Okay? And I'm fucking sick and fucking tired of people saying that la escuela cubana, no, que tú no sabes nada, que aquí la escuela cubana es de pegar y que no te peguen. In other words, the Cuban school hit and don't get hit. Motherfucker, sick. That's not it. What about fucking run and don't get caught? Rigondeaux, the fucking road runner, there's fucking videos of him literally running. There's a 40-year-old man running for this little Filipino cat. That is not fucking boxing. Call it what you fucking want. Just don't put it on TV. And you know what? It pisses me off because I think as boxing fans, we're as responsible for getting fucking slapped in the face for watching this. Even if you got fucking free tickets to this fucking fight, you should feel ripped off. Shout out to Lando. This man fucking ran. It was about 100 punches thrown in a championship level fight. 12 rounds and absolutely nothing happened. There was one man chasing another man. One guy supposedly too slick but straight out running. One guy can't even fucking cut off the fucking ring to attempt to make it an interesting fight. This is what fucking pisses me off about boxing. And I don't care what promoter put it on. I don't care if it was PPC, Golden Boy, Matchroom. This is fucking embarrassing. You guys remember how fun it was to go to StubHub, Home Depot Center, whatever the Dignity. They took the Dignity out of Dignity Health Center. This was embarrassing. It used to be so fun to say, you know what, I don't care who's fighting. There's going to be a bunch of fucking, there's going to be a war to go. Let's just go. It's almost guaranteed. It was a magical place to go to StubHub Center. You go, you didn't necessarily needed to root for a guy. You got to see Bradley Provannikov. You got to see Rios Alvarado. You got to see Rios Antilleon. You got to see Vasquez Mar. You got to see all these fucking great fights. And for a promoter to come and put their shit... and it's almost embarrassing to see all these fucking empty seats at the Dignity Health Center now. It's embarrassing. Nobody goes to these fights, and the people that go is because they get free fucking tickets. How many tickets they had possibly sold for a Cuban fighter? For a boring Cuban fighter. There's a strong community, a Filipino community in LA. They didn't want to fucking go. Filipino fans are fucking smart. They know this was going to be a shit show. They were hoping it was going to be Nonito Donaire versus Casimiro in a all Pinoy fight. That would have been fucking great. Stack the undercard with whatever the fuck you want. But no, you got just a fucking shit show. This is embarrassing. Again, remember when we used to go tailgate at this place? We used to go get drunk. We used to take a fucking music. Aguachiles. I'm not gonna fucking go to StubHub anymore. What these fucking PBC fucking dickheads call it, the punch bowl. I don't want to go because of shit like this. This is a garbage fucking fight, and it's up to us as boxing fans to put a stop to it. Anytime you see Rigondeaux's fighting, block it. Don't go to that shit. Don't watch this shit. Hit him where it hurts. Stream it if you really want to do it. But this ought to teach him not to put this type of garbage on TV. I get it. Again, this gets watered down because we had great fights from Virgil, great fights from Joshua and their respective opponents. But putting anything with fucking Rigondeaux, and I'm giving shit to Casimiro too, but again, the root of the cause here is fucking Rigondeaux. It's a fucking embarrassment to boxing. And then you want to ask why Fight Week and fucking in Vegas today it's a fucking ghost town. Manny Pacquiao, the great Manny Pacquiao, is fighting a fucking Cuban guy. Nothing wrong with Cubans, just the way they fucking fight is fucking ridiculous. It's embarrassing. I don't like it. I don't want to watch it. You ask me about Rigondeaux, I don't want to watch him. You ask me about Erislandy Lara, I don't want to watch him. I don't want to see him. I don't want to look at him. And the sad part is, stuff like that kind of hurts what's happening this weekend. Because, again, you see Ugas, who's fighting Manny Pacquiao. He's not a bad fighter. He's a Cuban guy, but he's not a bad fighter. He's a fighter that has a great inside game, great IQ. He can box you, but he also can brawl with you because we've seen him do it countless times. Great fighter. Might pull up the upset. Again, we'll talk about that a little later. But he's a great, great fighter. But leaving the stench, the stinky stench that Rigondeaux left this Saturday at StubHub, formerly known as Home Depot Center, formerly known as Dignity. Formerly known as Dignity because, again, Rigondeaux took that shit with him. It fucking hurts fighters like Ugas. Because you automatically think, oh, Cuban fighter, I'm good. I'm not watching that. And why would I want to go watch Manny Pacquiao versus Ugas in a fight that I think Ugas can win? But what about if he goes back to his traditional Cuban ways? Again, I haven't seen it. But again, to the casual fan, that's shit. It can't hurt him. All right. Let's talk about other news and notes. Let's see. And I'm gonna go see based on my notes of what I have here. Lopez Camboso is now targeted for Middle East. Man, this is a shit show, ain't it? Look, man. Lopez. He was one of those kids that I was so high on that I said, okay, this is a throwback fighter. I like him. You know, he's so young and he got the mother load and becoming a undisputed champion at such a tender age. Teofimo. Now, one, he gets COVID, and you know, based on his manager, I mean, you don't even know if it was actually COVID or not, because I mean, so much fake injuries are coming out now. But then he has the ability to fight. Again, he was supposed to fight Cambosos and come back and maybe do it again with Loma, and here he is still stuck. It's going to be the end of the year. It's going to be a year already since he fought, and he stayed on such a high note. Again, you actually beat Loma. Again, you beat Lomachenko. And somehow you're in the silence. Kids are like, fucking Ryan Garcia's making more noise without even fucking fighting. This is nuts. It's fucking crazy. I would love to see Teofimo keep the momentum that he actually had and continue to fight those good fights. And continue to look spectacular. Because let's be honest, I mean, other than maybe one fight versus the Asian guy, Teofimo has looked spectacular. But his stock has been dropping little by little. Now, not only with the COVID test, okay, that got canceled, and then they asked him to take the fight to Australia to maybe make some money off of those seats. He didn't want to, so now maybe it goes to the Middle East, which I find that very doubtful as well. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you guys. Oh, another news. Andy Reese actually gets a knee surgery. Good luck to Andy. Hope he's well. Wasn't he just training a few days ago? So, I don't know. Whatever happened there, hope he's good and he gets his shit together because, you know, we need to see him fight some more. But let's talk about the upcoming fights. Actually, let's see. What do we have? So, let's talk about what we have this weekend, which is August 21st from Las Vegas pay-per-view. That's interesting. Pay-per-view. So, Yordenis Ugas versus Manny Pacquiao for Ugas super welterweight title. Interesting fight. Interesting fight, of course, like we all remember. This fight got made after Spence came out that he had a scratched retina. Ended up the scratched retina was a detached retina. So, man, Ferrari couldn't take this kid out, but a fucking simple jab might have done the work, man. It sucks for it really sucks for Spence. I was looking forward to that fight. I thought, you know, maybe he was going to be a bit too much for Manny. It was one of those fights that, okay, I know he's too much for Manny, but let me put some money on Manny and see how it goes. That was going to be that was that type of fight. Now versus Ugas, I don't know. I honestly, I think I'm going for the upset special. I think Ugas is gonna beat Manny. I don't know if he's gonna stop him, but I know he could. He has a physical ability to beat him. He's a great fighter, and he's Cuban and whatnot, but he's very, very, very good fighter. I wouldn't be surprised if we see if Manny doesn't win. I know a lot of folks are thinking Manny's gonna win, and I think this is probably one of the reasons why Vegas is a bit quiet, because people know. I mean, look, Ugas is those type of guys that you don't really want to fight unless you have to. There's no fan base. There's no real money to make. It's Ugas. Puts on a solid performance day in, day out. Each and every one of his fights has been entertaining. And I wouldn't be surprised this one is too, and he ends up, you know, beating Manny. I don't see a knockout, but I do see him just edging Manny. Another scenario that plays a lot in my head is, of course, Ugas winning, and then just, you know, slightly giving it to Pacquiao, because you know how the scorecards have been lately. So who knows? The other fight that should be on Oscar De La Hoya's thriller comeback is Robert Guerrero versus Victor Ortiz. What the fuck is this? 2012? Remember? You remember? Again, this is the epitome of Sabo boxing. Victor Ortiz, the chalk walk, date rape, weird fucking kid, versus Robert Hispanicos Guerrero. One of them, the son of a cholo, and the other one, the son of a bitch. I mean, I don't know. This is a weird fight. Again, when fighters are, as, you know, in Spanish you call them tocados, you know, touched. That's what I guess is the direct translation. Touch. I mean, how can you say it in English? Fighters that just been hit a bit too much, like Robert Guerrero and Victor Ortiz, where, you know, their reflexes are not all there. They might put on a good fight as long as it lasts. I could see these guys getting tired. Victor's notorious. We all know notorious for quitting. But he's also notorious for making great fights. They have what? How many? Who did Robert Guerrero beat? Who do they have in common? Berto, right? Yeah, they have Berto in common. I don't know. It seems like a good circus, so why not watch it, stream it? Let's see. Then we have. Let's see what other fight we have in that card. Let's see. Everything else is pretty much shitty. We have Carlos Castro fighting. Mark Magsayo, he's a pretty good fighter. Met him a couple of times. Real decent fighter. Other than that, it's again the biggest fucking waste of time. These type of fights are the reason why everybody shows up late to fights. There's nothing appetizing in this card at all, and the only thing that's appetizing it's a fight that's 10 years past his due date, which is Robert Guerrero versus Victor Ortiz. So let's hope we get a good fight in that, or at least something to make memes off of. Other than that, looks like we're good. No other news, no other info out there. If it is, I'll bring it to you live. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Again, remember, if you can, subscribe, listen on YouTube. Make sure we start getting those YouTube subscribers up. Let's see. Again, I'm on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes. Make sure you guys listen, like, share, review, whatever you guys want. Thank you guys so much. And this has been the Mr. Boxing Guru Podcast. See you guys soon.